Now that is DJ Ganyani featuring Nomcebo coming through with Emma Zuluni right here on VOW 88.1. 30 minutes into 11 o'clock, and I am sitting in conversation here with a speaker, an entrepreneur, a founder of Rise and Grind. It is Rise and Grind events company, like a Champ Clothing, and he says that he's also somebody's son above it all.
Yes, definitely.
Somebody's son, somebody's brother, somebody's uncle, somebody's what?
Somebody's everything.
Litlotla, hello.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm alright, how are you?
Thanks for having me here.
No, thank you for joining me.
Yeah, shout out
because
to
the
everybody.
topic that we're about to get into is rather one that is a little bit uncomfortable for many.
Yes.
But we need to tackle these issues, right?
Yes,
we need to literally just go all in and see how we can make the world a better place.
Yes.
So the main two topics we're going to be talking about is men are trash.
Yes.
It's a very controversial one.
Very.
Okay, a very controversial one. And I need to know why you found it within you to step up and talk about such a topic.
I feel that it came to a point where when you get to a point where when you understand what's going on around us and you choose to keep quiet, you're more part of the problem than you actually think.
Yeah.
You know, when people, because the one thing I keep on telling people is that men are trash was never meant to degrade men. It was always a cry for help.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a thing where people think that men are trash is about guys cheating or guys being guys. No, it's about mothers and sisters being killed. It's about mothers and sisters being abducted. And the example I like making and telling people is the fact that if right now a man walks into a room late at night with a room full of women, then he'll feel safe, you know, or he'll be happy for some reason.
Yeah.
But when a woman walks late at night into a room full of men,
you're already
then she
scared
feels
for your
scared.
life.
Exactly.
Yes.
Then surely there's something wrong with us and society. And if I could use my little platform, it might not be the biggest, but I could say something and someone around me, because sometimes you could just tell, could be just be me, and I could tell my friend, and that could cause a ripple effect, and it can cause change. You don't always have to be the biggest person to have a voice. You just need to say something to have a voice. You know?
To also stand out when these things are happening.
Yes.
Because if you see me walking down the road and I'm being harassed by a certain man,
Yes.
and you're just walking past that as if it's okay, then
I'm also
is
part
it
of the
safe to
problem.
say you are part of the problem?
Yes, it is. I think sometimes as men, we need to take responsibility. And okay, Sharp, it's not like always about men, but everybody in society needs to take a stand. But I think it comes across more that it's men's responsibility because we are the protectors, you know. Women look to us to say, hey, men, help me, you know, because the whole men are trash thing was a cry for help. And when they said, hey, help us, the men's reply was, hey, man, not all men are trash, you know. That's just a smack in the face when you see people dying. And one thing, people need to start bringing it back home. What if it was your sister, your mother, your aunt, and stuff like that? Because that's the only time men realize that there's a problem in society, you know.
When it happens to their loved ones,
Exactly.
then it's a big problem.
Exactly.
But also you find men who have sisters and siblings and all of that, and they're still part of the big problem because outside of home, they still harass other women.
Yes.
What do we do with such men? What could the bigger problem be? Because you have ladies at home, but for some reason when you step outside, I just think you shut that down, and another girl down the road is not a lady from home. She's not like that. She's somebody else.
Yes. It comes back to the thing where men can be sheep at home and wolves outside. You know, I'm a predator outside, but at home I'm a sheep. So it's a thing where they do not view women the same. You know, someone who is close to me and someone outside is not the same person. They are not a woman. That's why sometimes you need to say, what if it was your sister? For them to start taking them seriously. Otherwise, they're just perishable goods. You know, it's like...
So for those that don't have sisters, it means that we are... Okay, well, it's not everybody. But for those that don't, then should we then say that we are in deep trouble because of them?
To an extent, you know, sometimes it comes back to the point where you start learning your most fundamental lessons of life at home. So can I expect someone who's never had sisters to understand a woman's perspective?
But you have a mother. Your sister, if it happens that you've never had a sister, the idea of having a sister, having a lady at home shouldn't be something that's new to you. You are born of a woman. You do have relatives. And I'm sure those relatives, there are girls and ladies in the whole family. So what's your excuse?
what I'm about to say might get me killed, but it's whatever. Sometimes women, mothers, also contribute to how men act. We've had this thing where daughters will be spoiled by their fathers and mothers will spoil their sons, where mothers will allow their sons to get away with murder, just because they're their sons, and boys will be boys. Society contributes to it. It's not only just men. Even in families where there's single mothers, and we have a lot of families like this, but you still get trashy men. So there is no male figure in the person's lives. Okay, the absence of it may cause trashy men, but there's some mothers because, and society's thoughts press down on the mother and her way of thinking that she passes it on to her son. So in a sense, society is sick. So society does not consist of only men. It consists of mothers, fathers, brothers, uncles, and everything. That's why sometimes even people will say that mothers contribute. It's like the whole Cheryl Zondi case.
Yeah.
The majority of people who were outside were the mothers. The people who were protesting for the church were the mothers. There were a lot of females outside. So sometimes just blaming men won't really solve the problem. We need to start having the conversation of, hey guys, what do I allow my sons to do and my daughters not to do? So I mean, who would tell you that you need to dress appropriately? A woman needs to. It's a woman, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So sometimes that.
But also just looking back at the history of
Yes.
how we honestly got here.
Yes.
And I feel like we're at a point where, especially our generation, we're at a point where we have so much more choice than our parents did.
Yes.
And we have, if we wanted, we could literally just change a lot of the things that happen around us, the narrative and everything else. But we're not doing that. But we also can't blame the fact that our parents treated us a certain way.
Yes.
When you go out of home, you meet certain friends, you make friendships, you go in certain relationships, you start acting a certain way.
Yeah.
And you don't need your mother to tell you that, Litlotlo, it is wrong for you to grab a woman by her clothes. Litlotlo, when you see a woman, you need to say hi. Litlotlo, when you do this, I feel like some of it really has to do with us.
Yes.
We need to stop blaming our parents.
Yes.
We need to stop blaming our mothers and fathers. We need to stop blaming our friends. It is us.
Yes.
Because then when you go home and you sit alone in your room, what do you think about? Is your friend there to say, hey, when you raped mama? Hey, when you did? No, they're not there.
Yeah.
So who is the bigger problem? Yourself.
Yes. Yes, but the bigger problem is myself, but at the same time, how do I differentiate from right and wrong? Do you know that people think that, for example, rape can only be violent? That's why we need to start having these conversations. People don't think that I could rape someone without me fighting the person.
Yeah.
That's why you have rape by deception. There's different forms of rape, and people need to start educating themselves on those things because, like you're saying, it's on me. But if I do not know what is wrong and right, then could you blame me to an extent?
But who is responsible for telling you what is wrong or right? You know what? Let's leave it there. Let's go for a little bit of a breather.
I was about to answer, Maria. Let's
leave it right there.
Let's
We'll
breathe.
continue just after this, okay?
Yeah.
Because it's very interesting. It might be getting a lot of people angered and triggered and all of that,
Yes.
but this needs to happen.
We need to talk.
Yeah. Now, if you have just joined me, I am in conversation with Litlotlo, and we are here talking everything that the society does not want to engage in and topics that make a whole lot of people uncomfortable, most especially men, I would love to believe. Yes, Litlotlo?
Yeah.
So, before we went for a breather, we were talking about the issue around who's responsible for teaching you what is right or wrong.
Yes. I feel that this thing where we blame our parents has to come to an end at a certain point. The way we get information these days is not how they got their information. So we need to understand that they didn't have a Google, and society's norms were pressed down on them more than us. We have more freedom, we have more choice. So in terms of religion, in terms of culture, the do's of don'ts, gender norms and stuff like that is slowly eroding from our generation, So there's gonna have to come a point where we stop blaming them and we start learning from ourselves. The whole thing of rape culture and stuff like that, I was not taught. I had to go out and learn about these things. Yes, there's certain things you learn from home, but you're not gonna learn everything. That's the thing about information. You need to go out there, enhance what you already know or what you're already given by your parents and build on that and so on and so on and so
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay, now we're talking about our parents teaching us this and that and all of that. I get.
Yes.
And then there's also the issue around you honestly being able to differentiate what is wrong and what is right, because ultimately it falls back on you.
Yes.
When you do something, I'm not going to say your parent or your mom or your whatever, it falls back on you. But also, again, I'm going to bring this point of saying, let's stop blaming our parents, because remember with rape culture right now and abuse and man dominating in households and everywhere, it needs to stop. Reason being that I feel like it was driven from a point of back in the days how things were done. As a woman, you're not allowed to work. You had to stay at home. You had to be a nurturer. You had to raise the kids. You had to cook. When your husband or the father of your kids is out there trying to make ends meet. And now we took all of those norms from 100,000 years and we are trying to incorporate them into our lifestyles now. And it doesn't work because times change. We have evolved. And our way of thinking has also changed.
Yes.
So who is honestly entirely responsible? I just need you to tell me that. Who is responsible for teaching you wrong or right? Who is responsible for your actions? Who is responsible for saying, Litloto, go touch that girl or don't touch that girl or do this or don't do that? Please just pass me on that one.
Another thing that I'm going to say that is not going to make people happy.
Wait. Litloto, let's not beat about it.
No, I'm not being. I'm going to make my statement. Yeah, let me just say this. Cultures, religion. Religion plays a major role in our lives. It tells you how the household, the hierarchy of the household. Cultures tell us the hierarchy of the household. Mm-hmm. So if we're still using, we still have religion, we still have culture, we still need to respect certain things that come from these things. That's where certain things come in. And sometimes people don't entirely understand these things. That's why they'll abuse certain privileges, you know. Another thing is the fact that when you look at the whole landscape of things, like I usually tell people, sometimes society plays a major role in everything that we do. As example, this thing where who tells me to touch this girl, who tells me not to touch this girl, it comes from growing up and people telling you, hey, if, like, I asked a lot of girls this question. I'm like, okay, would you have an can I guy? Like, can I kiss you? Can I hug you? Can
we have more of those guys?
Let me tell you what they said. They said that as much as consent is a thing, that guy would bore me. We grew up the bad boy being the
coolest guy around, the guy that should get all the girls because now, you know, the rougher you get, the more, I don't know, pleasurable it seems to be.
Exactly. And the one thing I asked them is the fact that, okay, fine, and these are feminists, strong feminists, and I asked them and I told them, okay, Sharp, the whole consent topic confused a lot of people, and I told them, don't you think that as much as consent flew out the window, there's a part where people contributed? Because sometimes females confuse men in a sense where, if I ask you every single time, can I kiss you, can I hug you, can I do this, every single they're going to say, oh, well, that guy's boring. You need to do it. Like we were sitting there, he did nothing. So society expects me as a man to make the first move. It doesn't expect me, because if I asked, because I was like, would you date a can I guy? They're like, ish, as much as it's the right thing to do, honestly, it will be boring. So I was like, hey guys, and these were strong feminists who are high key on consent. So you see, there's a lot of double. There's a problem. Double standards. There's so many things that go into play, and it's gonna take time. I think that's the one thing people don't understand.
Also, wait, see what the real issue is here. Yeah. The fact that Kirata Jabu. So if Jabu comes to me and just kisses me like that, it's fine.
Exactly.
But if Litloto comes and does it, then you are raping me.
Exactly. The other topic we had is catcalling. I've seen instances where maybe a petrol attendant or a taxi driver would catcall a female, and she'd be upset. But when she's catcalled by a guy driving a BMW, she'd stop, she'd smile and stop. So I'm like, okay, so when, because I scared, okay, people say, as a man, you're supposed to step in and say, except brag, I'm supposed to stop him from doing that. The next thing, when a rich guy does it, and I do, it's like, man, don't stop my chances. This is my paycheck. I don't know if I'm making sense. So sometimes, as much as, because now I usually tell them, I'm a male feminist, and feminists just fight with me, but I am for females. But when, as much as I'm trying to educate guys. There's certain questions that they ask that make sense. Or why is it that it's fine when this is done and it's fine when this is not done? And I've this thing where I was told that a guy needs to take control, take charge. I was told by females. I was not told by men. This thing where a guy needs to make the first move. I was told by females, not by men. So it's a thing where, yes, in society we get taught. That's why I say the problem is with society. Especially
but also,
men.
let's be mindful that we can't just honestly use the word society loosely. Society is the people you surround yourself with,
Exactly.
the people you live with,
Yes.
your friends,
Yes.
the people you bump into along the road, social media,
Yes.
and stuff like that. Those are all the elements that make up society.
Yeah.
But where do you fall?
Mina. Or are you saying who?
Generally, where do you fall? But yes, where do you also fit in all of this?
I feel that everybody must try to be the right person in society, because there's always going to be kind of like the rotten tomatoes, and you're always going to contribute, because then I could go and tell kids, hey, I'm fine. Some sweets.
It's just wrong. So in essence, it's not only men that are a problem.
Contributing. They contribute majority because they are doing the actions.
But also, us as women,
yes,
how we allow them to treat us and how to act around us contributes quite a lot. Because if I'm going to say, you are the protector, you are, you are the guy that should be in charge,
yes,
then spreading that notion will get almost every guy thinking, that's my role, that's what I should do, that's how life should run.
Exactly.
But in essence, I think it should just honestly differ from one person to another.
Yes.
But also, gents need to get it that it's not all girls that want to use their bodies to be appealing to certain guys. It's not all girls that want, the material things to find you appealing.
Yes.
You understand what I mean?
Yes.
So it should go from one person to another. It should range. It should be different.
Yes.
But in essence, I just think, let's just treat women fairly. Let's treat women with all the care that we want. Because also you guys are so quick to say, I'm a protector.
Yes.
But no, you don't protect us at all. You don't.
Yeah.
But also stop assuming that protecting me means that you should do it physically. I need your emotional protection.
Yes.
I need you to protect me spiritually.
Yes.
Because if I get into the house and I was harassed by some guy along the road, I get there and I vent, you need to be there for me emotionally. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes,
it's not just physically.
Definitely.
So stop with divine balona and just up. Come on.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
110%.
All right, that's cool. That is Litlotla, and thank you very much for joining us, because these topics, like I said, we need to keep talking about such things. They're uncomfortable, but it doesn't end here, right?
It doesn't.
It's not a call for this and that, it should be a lifestyle.
Yes.
All right.